For nearly 6 decades, largely out of sight, out of mind, America's overture to reestablish diplomatic relations thrust the island of Cuba into the media spotlight.
In many ways, what's old is new again. What had once been a favorite tourist destination for Americans has been off limits since Fidel Castro's rise to power back in 1959. But decades of communist rule haven't dulled the color and excitement of Havana and the rest of the island nation.
And there is a growing fascination among Americans, a desire to visit and invest. Reporter Heath Allen traveled to Cuba with a group from Louisiana and found in Havana what other countries have known for years. It's nothing like you'd expect. Heath?
Scott, you're absolutely right. With the socialist economy struggling, the island nation is already undergoing change right under our noses, attracting significant capital investment from other countries, and American business interest is ramped up as well. Many ready to move if and when the diplomatic doors reopen. But for many of the 80 or so civic leaders and business people that made that historic trip from New Orleans to Havana last March, it was not what they expected.
I enjoy everything. Always, I enjoy what I do. When I work, when I dance, when I walk, when I eat, I always enjoy.
You'll find the heart of Jose Felix beating with the rhythm of Cuba at Casa del Son Malecon, an oceanfront salsa dance studio. A little capitalism right in the heart of Havana. Jose's optimism can be felt just about everywhere.
Cuba offers what Cuba, the culture. We are natural people. We are enjoyed happiness and laugh all the time. We are like that.
Whatever preconceived notion you may have had about Havana and Cuba, you can probably change it. Forget the gray and somber communist stereotype. Here, it is a sea of vibrant color, music, food, and change.
I think a lot of Americans think that, oh, this poor, oppressed, downtrodden, communist, oppressive regime where there are no civil liberties and you can't say what you think. And you go down there and say, really?
I look at people's faces today, they're laughing, they're joking, they're trying to please you, they're enjoying you.
The streets of Havana lined now with businesses, vendors, merchandising, tourism. It hasn't always been this way. But today, Cuba is literally changing the way it does business. The door to American tourism and commerce has been cracked.
Companies can start the process. They can get, like I say, a foot in the door. But we're still going to need the United States to play their side of the game because Cuba has opened that.
I think there for an entrepreneur, I think there's possibilities if the paths are cleared that we could do real well here.
Alexandria businessman Mike Shelton owns more than 60 Popeyes Louisiana kitchens across South Louisiana.
I'm just intrigued by Cuba and heard stories of the past and how warm and generous the people were, and then just opportunity. I mean, I think our product would sell well here.
This place is getting ready to pop, and if you don't get in now, you're going to be behind the curve.
Lenny Wormser's business, new hotels in Havana now, seeing what it would take to be in on the ground floor to take advantage of a tourist industry sure to explode overnight should full relations between the two countries be restored.
I think there's a tremendous opportunity here. Everybody from Europe's here. All the big brands from Europe's here. The United States brands are not.
I think all the islands in the Caribbean are probably very nervous right now. Very nervous because their tourist trade is going to plummet, at least initially, significantly.
You see a tsunami coming.
Oh, yeah. It has to be. We're so close. I mean, we could have a bridge from Key West over here and drive over.
Much of Havana is, in many ways, living in the past. Scant change in decades. With its historic, centuries-old buildings and iconic antique cars, the city seems frozen in time. So there's legitimate fear that lifting sanctions and throwing open the doors would pave the way for a flood of fast food, fancy coffee, and the Americanization of the island.
It's scary. It is very scary. I don't want to see McDonald's in Havana, really.
I think it's good that so many other countries have a foothold here. So when the tsunami from the United States comes in, some other countries are going to have to protect their own interests that they have here.
With controlled investment, managed growth, a U.S.-Cuban business relationship could be a bonanza for the people of both countries, taken slowly.
I wouldn't want to see the island overran with be the next Disney World.
I think Cuba's ready for us. The question is whether we're ready for Cuba in the States.
For Jose and friends at Casa del Sol Malecón, they are ready for a change not so much like a tsunami, but more like a fresh breeze from the north.
There is not way to not change, because when you open to other part of the world, you need to see other things, and you need to add and take what you want from that part.
Still, a lot must happen before full-fledged tourism and business investment can begin. But make no mistake, the wheels are turning in cities all along the Gulf Coast, all ready to take advantage of the opportunities if and when diplomatic relations are restored. Scott, Camille?
Thanks, Heath. Great story. President Obama last month asked Congress to remove Cuba from the terror watch list, which would clear the way for critical banking relationships between the two countries to be reestablished. With no challenge from Congress, Cuba could be removed from the watch list by the end of this month.